Hey everyone, I'm Jessica with Pencil First Games, and this video is to show you how to take off that thin film that you may find on acrylic standees, such as the ones, like this, that you may find in our new game, Vineyard. So I'm going to show you a few examples of how to do this, along with some tips to make this easy and quick to get through. So let's dive in. When you first get your components, you'll have the bases and standees mixed together in a bag. These are all the ones that are included with Vineyard. We are just going to start with one example one, for instance. So I'm going to move all of these out of the way just for now, and we're going to start with Greta. So the important part of figuring out what side to actually work on with an acrylic standee is to figure out if one or both sides have a film. In Vineyard, only one side has a film. So if you feel each side, the side that has the art printed on it actually has a little bit of a rough feel to it, and that is the side that does not have a film. So you're not going to want to try to take off anything there. A side that does have a film, however, is going to feel really smooth, and if you kind of get it in the light, I'm trying to show some examples here, you'll probably see that it doesn't have any other texture to it. You'll also notice that the side that has the art printed on it, it's very close to the surface. It's a little hard to see here, but you can see how close that art is to the surface of the acrylic. The side that has the film on it, the art is actually on the other side, so there's a little bit of space there. Now, the quickest way to take off these films is to actually use the included base, which also has a film. We'll get to that in a minute. But this is actually another way to kind of check to see if there is a film on one side. So for instance, if I do it on the wrong side, I want to go into an area that doesn't have any art. So I'm kind of pointing at the very bottom here. And when you do this, this is a method in order to kind of just loosen up the film just so you can get a sort of a corner of the edge to pull up. If nothing happens as I'm kind of gently going like this, you'll immediately feel there's nothing catching, and so that side doesn't have a film. If I do it on the side that does have that little plastic film, if you push these edges together, there'll be a point where you kind of feel something catch. And I am not putting that much effort into this. This is a very gentle sort of pushing that I'm doing. And if you see as I'm doing that, I've kind of pulled up this edge here. Now, you can use your fingernail for this. I have broken fingernails doing this, though. It can be a little tricky. So using another acrylic piece you have, just to kind of loosen it up just enough, you can see it's coming up there. Once you get to that point, you just have to kind of hold on, get a little grab on that edge, and I have a bad angle here, so this is very easy, but you literally just hold it and start peeling, and you're done. So at this point, Sylvie is now done. You can actually see she's a lot clearer. You can leave plastic films on acrylic. There's no problem with that. It doesn't cause any issues. This is just how you get those really crystal clear see-through pieces that look really nice. So as you go through this, because there's all these other pieces to do, I will typically go and do all of the standees at once before even worrying about the bases. Some people don't worry about the bases if they're not as clear. Not everybody cares about that, but I'll show you how to do that in a second. I'll just do one more example. Let's use Jasper the cat. So again, keep everything off to the side so that we can kind of focus in on Jasper. Again, if I cannot figure out which side has that film on it, I can just very gently kind of try to go to the edge, and if you don't feel anything catching just on that edge, again, I'm doing this with a little bit of force, but very gently, nothing's happening. So I'm pretty sure that's the side with the art. I'll just flip it over and then try to go at that again from that same corner, and immediately I can feel there was a little catch, so I just need to find the right angle. I am doing this extra gently. Sometimes I get a little more forceful, but just to kind of show you, you can immediately see I'm getting a corner up right here. That might actually be enough to peel that off. If it's not, you can always pull a little bit more, but here we go. Got it, and off it comes. That is done, and Jasper is free. Now, as you're going through too, there's going to be these bases. My tip with these is to always leave two remaining. If you're going, if you're doing a standee and then doing a base and basing them immediately, that's fine, but I recommend keeping two that are not complete. At the very end, what I do is I kind of keep using these together to get both films off of either component. Now, I am not actually sure if there are two films. There's a film on one side or not. So let's just start to try to do the edges here. Again, I am going extra gentle, but I have this edge. Now, before I peel that off though, I want to actually get this one started so I'm not left here trying to force it with my fingers. So I can see that there's a little edge almost off of there. So let's kind of just push that just a little bit. And normally I would move to another side because this one's a little bit in a little weird area, but you can see how that's coming off. So I know that I have these two edges, or these sides are already started. I'm not sure about the other sides though. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip them both over before taking those films off. And I am actually gonna just try to work on this side to see if there is a film or not. I do this with a lot of other acrylic standees. You can kind of, it's either very obvious if it's one-sided or not, or when you have clear bases like this, I don't believe there is one on this one. No, I think there is actually. No, I can feel it. I can feel something. Maybe it's on the other one. This is the fun of acrylic standees. At this point though, I'm gonna take this one off, peel this side off, and this is another way to tell. And I might look at that and say, yeah, I got some fingerprints on that, but that looks pretty clear to me. See, this is where the, where I'm like, is that clear enough to play with? To me, that is. As I look at this one, I see it, the edge is on this side. So I actually peeled up both edges on the side of one side. I'm gonna take that one off. That one is now done. And I'm just gonna take a look at this whole thing. And I am very confident that there is only one film on these bases as well. So as you're going through, you're also gonna be able to slot these in. So for instance, we will go here, and that just goes in neatly. If you notice that a standee isn't going in as neatly, that may mean that there's actually a film on the base. That's why I recommend taking those off if you can. If it doesn't bother you, if they do work like that, again, peeling off that film, it's a protective film to make sure they don't scratch during transport. But if you are fine with leaving that on, it does not affect gameplay, it doesn't harm anything. But there, she is ready to go. Greta is good. Jasper is gonna be good too. Look at that. Beautiful. And then I'm gonna come back in 1 second after I can take all of the other films off of the rest, and I'll just show you how these fit neatly inside the Vineyard box. So here is the bottom layer of the Vineyard insert. I have constructed all of these, and by constructed I mean I took off the film and just easily kind of put them in their bases. So we are gonna just stick them right here in their individual slots, which is where they are stored at the very bottom. There's nice cutouts for each one, so you should be able to fit them in easily. And just to show you how that looks with all the other components on top, there is a nice little tray that slots on top of that. We have a bag with all of our grape tokens that heads down over into here. And then the the bags of wooden hearts will just kind of neatly stack in this region here. We have the game board that will then fit on top just like that. And then we have all of the rule books and player boards fit right here. And right on top, we are gonna get a box top. As soon as we tuck that in, and as soon as I can actually reach this. And there we go. Perfect. That is how you put together the acrylic standees for Vineyard, along with some tips for acrylic standees in general. Hopefully these tips and examples are helpful to you for getting your acrylic standees ready to go so you can start playing great games like Vineyard right away and enjoy them at your table. Thanks so much for watching, and take care. Bye!